We're doing sports now, and Yao Ejay Minta has joined us in studio. How are you doing, Yao?
I'm doing very well, I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
Great, I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Nice.
How's the AFCON going?
Oh, yeah, it's going very well. Two teams have already made it to the semi-final stage, and that is Senegal and Morocco. And later today, we'll have two other teams or two other nations also join them to complete the set. Yesterday's game, we had Senegal beating Mali by a goal to 0. No surprise there. But the bigger game of the night, that one had Morocco, the host nation, taking on Cameroon. And Morocco ended up beating Cameroon by 2 goals to 0. And there was a lot of controversy about the officiating regarding that particular game.
Yeah, I heard it was a controversial game.
Yeah, that was a very controversial game, and it had a lot of controversies in the sense that Cameroon felt a little bit aggrieved looking at how some of the decisions went, and they registered their displeasure. And yeah, because at the end of the day, the controversy stems from, number one, the fact that the referee who officiated that particular game wasn't supposed to officiate that particular game. Originally, it was an Egyptian who was supposed to officiate the game. That's Amer Mohamed Omar.
Right.
And then Morocco protested.
Why?
Because there are lingering tensions between Morocco and Egypt.
So they assume that it will be brought onto the pitch?
More or less. And so they protested it. And CAF, they obliged. And then they changed the referee. And then, so the referee who officiated that game, that's Dahani Baida, he wasn't supposed to officiate the game. He wasn't supposed to officiate the game. It was, I believe, on Thursday that the change was made.
So
and he's from Mauritania. He's from Mauritania. And yeah, the changes meant that Cameroon went into that game already suspicious of the way the officiating would go. So that's the whole background to the build-up to the game. And then he went on the pitch, and some of his calls were a bit dodgy, a bit iffy. And so once you have that background brewing, and you go on the pitch, and you have some of those calls going against you, yeah, definitely, it will very likely throw you off your game.
So in your opinion, Cameroon were right to feel...
I mean, it's football, so some decisions will go your way, some decisions won't go your way.
But don't you feel like you already coming into the game with suspicions kind of affected their play?
I think it affected their play, but generally, looking at the game in totality, I mean, Morocco deserved the win because, yeah, they were very dominant. They dominated the football. I was a bit surprised by the starting unit of Morocco. They didn't have any natural defensive midfielder in the starting lineup. It was all central midfielders who are creative with the ball, who are what we call ball jugglers. And funny enough, it worked because they just pinned Cameroon in their own half and just created chance after chance after chance. And eventually, they ended up beating Cameroon by 2 goals to 0. But yeah, the officiating will take the headlines. And yeah, Cameroon had a legitimate shout for a penalty. Manchester United's Brian Mbeumo got fouled in the penalty box, and the referee, he ignored it, and then VAR also didn't prompt him to move over to the machine and check it out for himself, and whether to determine if it was a penalty or not. And so that made people question whether, yes, indeed, the officiating was on point, and to the extent that people even accused Morocco of getting favors from the referee, and so their win wasn't necessarily earned. In the post-game presser, their head coach, Walid Regragui, he came out and he said, they earned their win on the pitch, and they weren't given any favors by the referee. And so, yeah, a little bit back and forth. Yeah, Carlos Baleba of Brighton Hove Albion, he said, yes, if that penalty had been given, it would have changed the circumstances of the game. Even though Cameroon were trailing by 2 goals to 0 at that point in time. Yeah, if they had been given a penalty, and let's say they had converted it 2-1 with about 10 minutes left, they could have done something with that particular game. So that's the lowdown on what happened in that game between Morocco and Cameroon. Morocco ended up beating Cameroon by 2-0. Senegal and a straightforward win over Mali. It should have been more than a goal.
It was a routine win. I saw India's goal, and I'm like, come on.
It was a routine win. Senegal didn't have to step to the next level. They just went through the motions. They got the win, and that was all she wrote. But tonight, and last night's game, honestly, I saw them as straightforward wins for the favorites. But tonight's game, today's game, those ones you cannot have straightforward wins. They are very tricky ties. I mean, the first one, Nigeria, Algeria, very super tie.
But on paper, Nigeria seemed to have the upper hand.
Yeah, on paper. Yeah, easy. I mean, on paper, yes, they have the upper hand because you look at the depth that they have, the quality that they have.
Okay.
You have guys like Chukwueze, who plays for Fulham. He's on the bench.
Ademola
Lookman in there. You have a guy like Chidera Ejuke. Ejuke plays for Sevilla. He's on the bench. Akko Adams is on the bench. He once in a while he comes in. Once they alter the starting unit, and so
it's Moses Simon in the team.
Moses Simon is in the team, and he even addressed that whole issue of Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman, their clash on the pitch, and he said, like, yes, there are no best individuals, and the best thing in this Nigeria team is the team itself and not individuals. And so Nigeria, everything is going well for them. Then some way, somehow, some level of implosion comes in the sense that you've played 4 games. You are the top scoring team in the AFCON. You scored 12 goals. Then that Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman clash happens. Then on top of that, there is that bit of the unpaid bonuses. So you just ask yourself, when is Nigeria going to go through a campaign without any form of controversy? You just ask yourself, why does it happen every time that Nigeria is in a competition? You are bound to have a situation where there is controversy over unpaid bonuses. Just last year, in the lead up to the World Cup qualifiers, the playoffs, it happened. They boycotted training. Then they scrambled around, got them the money and sorted it out. Eventually, they lost to DR Congo. Now, this has also happened. In the lead up to a big game against Algeria, you have issues over unpaid bonuses, which is a big shame. But I still tip them to be able to beat Algeria because for world peace. Because if Algeria end up beating Nigeria, they'll meet Morocco in the semi-final. And Morocco and Algeria is even worse. Their beef is even worse than Morocco and
rivalry.
Egypt.
You know, if you say beef, it's like
it's a beef.
They are fighting. You know, it's like it's rivalry. You know,
it's beef because of Western.
It's Ghana-Nigeria beef.
No, it goes beyond Ghana-Nigeria beef because of Western Sahara. You know, Western Sahara, that territory that is close to Morocco. Morocco claims it. And the UN recently ruled that it is a territory that belongs to Morocco. But before the UN ruled that it's a territory that belongs to Morocco, Algeria were supporting forces who were fighting against the Moroccan government.
So there are geopolitical tensions.
Yes, geopolitical tension. I don't know if you've heard of it, the Polisario. They are a rebel group that are based in Western Sahara. And they are fighting for the independence of Western Sahara so that they wouldn't be viewed as a territory of Morocco. Yes, and they view that country or that territory as Sahrawi Arab Republic. That's how they view it, and not Western Sahara as Morocco view it. So it goes beyond the football beef. For them, their beef is not Ghana, Niger, or Jollof War. No. Their beef is legit.
It's political.
Political, and it's gone on for years, several decades.
So but this won't be the first time.
So
we'll see.
I'm praying that game for Nigeria should win, should beat Algeria, because if Morocco ends up meeting Algeria, I don't want to think about.
But sometimes football has a way. Sometimes football has a way. It calms the tensions when it comes to some of these things.
Yeah,
remember the 2001 of the AFCONs, probably 2006. Cote d'Ivoire was on the brink of a civil war. Drogba rallied the team together.
True. And they qualified to the World Cup.
Exactly.
Yeah, it helped out. And so we'll see how things go with that particular one.
But I want Nigeria to win anyway.
Yeah, and aside that game, there is Egypt and Cote d'Ivoire. Yeah, I'm tipping Nigeria to win that particular game. There's also Egypt and Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire, the defending champions, going up against Mo Saleh's Egypt. And so that should be another interesting one. I'm picking Cote d'Ivoire to win that particular game.
Did any of the teams you mentioned at the start of the AFCON, are they still in the competition?
No. 2 have been eliminated.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they ended up on the very competitive side of the brackets of the
group
draw.
Stages.
Yeah. And DR Congo ended up losing to Algeria. We saw that infamous goal that was scored in the final minutes of extra time. Then Cameroon ended up beating South Africa, surprisingly. And so, yeah, that was one of the big shocks in the round of 16 stage. So my picks, DR Congo and South Africa eliminated. It's just left with Senegal.
Okay.
And Senegal, looking at the fact that they were playing against Cote d'Ivoire, the winner of the Cote d'Ivoire-Egypt game, yeah, I tip Senegal to go to the final. And so, yeah, we're done with the AFCON, and now to the biggest, don't call me, the biggest
Antoine
news
Semenyo.
In Ghana, in Africa.
In
England, Antoine Semenyo has joined Manchester City officially for £64 million.
Oof.
£64 million.
Did you don't call me the move?
Oh, yes, I did. I actually wrote an article on it projecting how Antoine Semenyo will fit into the Manchester City team on Boxing Day last year. It's a very good move. A lot of people have a lot of doubts about the move. But I think it's a very good move because on a personal level, he'll be getting coached by Pep Guardiola. On a personal level, I mean, the money will be good. On a personal level, he'll be playing the Champions League. And yeah, it wouldn't mean much to a lot of players. But for a guy like Antoine Semenyo, it is a big deal because he's been through the trenches. This is a guy who played on loan at Millwall, Newport County, Bath City, Sunderland.
He started at Bath City. So
Bath City, Newport County,
and to be fair, he was like
Sunderland.
15 at Bath. So.
And he had been rejected by Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur.
Wow.
And before he finally made his mark at Bristol City.
Okay.
He played there for a year and a half. Then he moved over to AFC Bournemouth. 2 years in, he's now at Manchester City.
Does he walk into the City starting 11?
Does he walk into the City starting 11? I mean, with the exception of Erling Haaland and Donnarumma, does anyone walk into the City starting 11?
She's going to start from the bench?
I think Bernardo Silva does.
He doesn't. Because
I think Rodri does. I think Guardiola, if he's fit, does. Quite a number of players actually do.
Pep Guardiola, with the way he builds his team, it's about the system. And he beats down the overall attributes of the player in order to fit the system. And so, with the exception of Lionel Messi, with the exception of Kevin De Bruyne, with the exception of Erling Haaland, and with the exception of Donnarumma, he doesn't build his team around players. It is his system.
Does he get enough game time?
Oh, yeah, he gets enough game time. And I was getting to that point because you look at the wingers that they have. Pep Guardiola, after they signed Antoine Semenyo, he granted an interview and he made mention of the wingers that they have. He didn't include Phil Foden. He didn't include Ryan Cherki. The wingers that he mentioned were just 3. Jeremy Doku, Savinho, and Oscar Bob. And so if you have 3 wingers and Antoine Semenyo joins and it makes it 4, I mean, there's a clear part to play because at the end of the day, Oscar Bob is injured at this point in time and he's linked to a move to Borussia Dortmund anyway. Savinho doesn't get quite a lot of playing time because of his poor start to life in Manchester City. Then you have Jeremy Doku, who's also of Ghanaian descent. Omar Mamouche. Mamouche is more of a striker. And so he's likely to be paired up top with Erling Haaland. And then you have Phil Foden and Ryan Cherki. They'll be played through the middle, behind those guys. So they are likely to be battling for that spot behind Erling Haaland, with Antoine Semenyo battling for spot on the wings. Luckily for Antoine Semenyo, he's ambipedal. He can play right foot, left foot.
Crazy
so he's comfortable on either side of the wing. And so, yeah, his chances of playing in the Manchester City team consistently are quite high. You won't see him constantly. Ghanaians should know this. He won't be constantly played in the games for Manchester City.
I think if he works hard, he could.
Because Pep Guardiola
prefers the system.
He rotates his squad, and it's all about the system. Erling Haaland plays because he's the only striker that they have.
Well,
Oh, they don't have other strikers? You sure about that?
I mean, the other strikers.
But he can play as a
necess-
9, right?
He can play as a 9, as a false 9. But Erling Haaland is the only one who is a throwback, old school traditional striker. The
center forward.
Center forward. The others are like more or less false 9, makeshift 9, like Omar Mahmoud, like Antoine.
That's the number 42, which was previously worn by Yaya Toure.
Yes.
Put any pressure on him?
Oh, I don't think so. It's not like a number 10 at Barcelona, like Messi, the kind of pressure that was put on Ansu Fati, for instance. Once you wear the number 10 at Barcelona,
just soon.
Yeah, soon. I mean, this is a jersey that was worn by Rivaldo. This was a jersey that was worn by Ronaldinho. You can't wear the number 10 at Barcelona and not feel the pressure. You feel pressure, but Yaya Toure, number 42, yes, he's a legend, but it's not as big as, let's say, wearing a number or being handed a number 10 jersey at FC Barcelona. No, it's not
7 or a 7 at United.
Or a 7 at Manchester United. I mean, this is a jersey that was worn by David Beckham, by the likes of
Ronaldo,
George Best, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cantona did, right?
Cantona too. And so there are differences, but this one is not on the same level. So
I think we all just wish Semenyo well. I think that it's a moment of national pride.
Oh yes, it is.
And his story is a reminder of the fact that hard work pays.
Yes, it is.
By the way, the ladies are saying that when you marry, good things come to you.
Oh yeah, he got married last year. He proposed to his longtime girlfriend.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he got baptized. And he has always been preaching about his faith, about his Christian faith, and how it kept him up when he was at his low point. I mean, getting moved all over the place, playing on loan. I mean, if you are playing at Bath City, Newport County, Charlie,
and now you're playing for arguably the biggest team in England.
And now you're playing for Manchester City.
Wow.
And it happened within 3 years, just 3 years. 3 years ago, he was playing at Bristol City in the EFL Championship.
Wow.
And just 3 years later, he's playing for Manchester City. I mean,
Mint,
are you guys on radio today?
Yeah, we're on radio today, Republic of Football, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Join us, we'll give you the breakdown. And we'll give you the commentary and the analysis on that game between Egypt and Cote d'Ivoire. And so, yeah, we get to enjoy the full package.
A message here says, Charlie, your sports guy has deets. I love it. So, yeah.
No, it's solid.
Thank you.
I learned something new today around the Algeria-Egypt geopolitical tensions.
Yeah. Major issues.
Always a pleasure having you.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, Mr. Duncan.
Oh, Charlie.
Oh, Mr. Duncan.
Charlie.
Oh, speaking of level of being elevated.
And on that note,
So we're expecting good things for you.
On that note, we end what has been an exciting show. Thank you so much.